Hey everybody, good Saturday afternoon. So listen, y'all. I thought I was going to take me a little nap, but had something that kind of crossed my mind, and you know me. Whenever it crosses my mind and I think it's some good stuff, I always like to immediately share. So I'm waiting for a few of you to join on. I think it's been a few days since I've done a lipstick dialogues, and I'm using this audio because I like it. So when you come on, same thing, say hi, wave at me, do something so that I know that I'm not having this conversation by myself. And if you don't mind, if you'll share, I would greatly appreciate it. But today, I promise, I always say this and I mean it today, we're not going to be up here long. Let's talk about the dangers of being unequally yoked, right? So growing up in church, that is a phrase that I'm sure many of you, if you've been in church, are familiar with. I know that I am familiar with it, being unequally yoked. But I wanted to talk to you today about it from a broader perspective, other than just as it relates to attaching to somebody who's saved or not saved or whatever the dynamic is, because it is so much deeper than that and it is so much broader than that. Thank you all for joining me. But let's talk about the dangers of being unequally yoked. First of all, as I stated, you have to first consider that, be it whether it is unequally yoked in your faith, unequally yoked in your finances, unequally yoked in your mindset. Whenever you connect with somebody, you have to understand, you know what I mean? How is it they handle money? How is it that what are their goals like? What does their future look like? How is it that they're managing their finances, right? Because the worst thing that you can do is to connect to somebody, right, that does not have a similar mindset to yours. And again, this is more than just you connecting to somebody that if you saved, you connected to somebody who's not saved, or vice versa. This is connecting to somebody who doesn't even have the same mindset that you have as it relates to building goals and pursuing goals. This is about connecting to somebody who does not even have the same mindset as it relates to finances and saving. Because if you're somebody who manages your finances well and you connect to somebody who just spends, they can't save a dollar if you pay them, then it's always going to be an imbalance in your dynamic, right? So a lot of times we get caught up in the outer part of a person, or we say they treat us nice. And those things are great. Those things are wonderful. But when we're talking about building a relationship, right, and creating a forever with somebody, you got to know who you're connecting to, right? And again, I'm going to keep repeating it. This is way deeper than I'm apostolic and they're Baptist. This is way deeper than I'm a Christian and they're Catholic. Yes, I think that's another area you need to be mindful of. And I know people don't want to talk about religion and people don't want to talk about faith, but that is important, because if we have a different faith base, or that we have a different belief system, how is it that we are going to be able to create balance? Especially if you connect with somebody, you all get married and you have children, there will always be a sense of turmoil and imbalance in your home. Here's the other thing. If you connect to somebody and you are unequally yoked, and when I say in finances, I'm not talking about because one person makes more than the other. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about in the sense of how they manage their finances. Because again, if you are unequally yoked in the sense of how you manage finances, there will always be some sort of struggle as it relates to finances in your household. And if you want to know one of the number one things that can tear a relationship apart, it is money. right? It is the lack of finances. It is the mismanagement of finances. Those things can strain a relationship. But again, these are things that you should know before you you know what I mean? Like, think about it like this, y'all. In the dating process, right? This is why I tell people in the dating process, really take your time, right? And work through the dating process, because dating is the period in which you are gathering information, you are gathering data about each other. Dating is the period in which you find out who it is that you've met, who it is that you're trying to connect to. And it is during the dating period that you get an opportunity to decide how you want to proceed, whether you want to proceed to something more exclusive or you just want to keep it like it is. But it is in the dating period that you find out how equally yoked or unequally yoked you are. So that's why it's important during that time period and that process to have real conversations about how, look, I'm not asking you how much money you got in the bank. I'm not asking you how much money you make. What's important is, how do you manage your finances, and do we have the same goals or financial goals? Because again, if you connect to somebody that has, and when I say different goals that are contrary or pull against you, that's an automatic struggle that you create in a relationship that you shouldn't even have to have, right? So that's why it's important. Being unequally yoked, again, is more than just being unequally yoked in how we believe in terms as believers and as Christians. Being unequally yoked is in every area. What is their mindset like? Right? What is their mindset like? How do they handle conflict? Right? What does conflict resolution look like to them? Right? So those are things that you need to consider when you are trying to connect to somebody as it relates to relationship, romantic eros. But these are the things that you find out in the dating process. So what did I say so far? Yes, it's about faith, right? But it's more than about faith. You need to find out what their financial mindset is. You need to find out what their emotional state is. You need to find out things like, you know what I mean? Are they passive? Are they negative? You know what I mean? Are they super aggressive? Are they assertive? Right? Those are things that you need to find out. Now, there are some things that maybe they are different and you all can meet in the middle. But then there are certain areas that if they are a polar opposite of you, right, then it's just not going to work. And as much as you may try to make it work, it's just going to add unnecessary stress to your relationship. Communication. How do they communicate? What does communication look like to you? Any good relationship is built on your ability to communicate. But if you are unequally yoked, which means you're not balanced, right, in that area, and they struggle in the area of communication, they don't have the ability to communicate or they don't have a desire to communicate. Those are things that you gather in the dating process. Because again, the dangers of being unequally yoked is that it will cause unnecessary strain, it will cause unnecessary stress, and it has the ability to totally just destroy a relationship. Right? So we you know what I mean, we got to move beyond, oh, she cute, oh, he cute. We got to move beyond, oh, he's kind, or oh, she's kind, or you like the way they hold your hand. They could be the nicest person in the world, but there are just certain foundational principles, characters, and qualities, right, that are important if in essence you really want to have a successful relationship. Right? Communication is necessary, and not just communication, but good communication. And if you are unequally yoked in that dynamic, then you already set yourself up to have a hard ride, right? So far we've talked about being unequally yoked in your finances. And again, not because one person makes more than the other, but just the mindset and how you manage finances and how you maintain finances, right? We also talked about unequally yoked in how we communicate and our ability to communicate, right? Because again, the key to having a successful relationship is being able to effectively and successfully communicate with one another, right? Also, I also mentioned conflict resolution. You may not agree with me, but being unequally yoked in that area in regards to how you handle conflict also has the potential, right, to cause a miserable ride. So that if you decide to look past these things and you connect to a person anyway, be prepared for a bumpy ride. Right? And I'm not saying that things have to be perfect, but you have to understand, are we balanced, right? Unequally yoked means there's no balance in a situation. And you have to find out, are we balanced? Are we balanced in our mindset? Are we balanced in our goals? Are we balanced in our pursuit for purpose? Are we balanced in the way that we manage our finances? Are we balanced in what it is that we look as it relates to disciplining and raising children? Are we balanced, right? Are we balanced? So at the end of the day, when you are connecting to somebody as it relates to a relationship, you have to figure out before you even proceed to being exclusive, you have to figure out, how balanced are you? How compatible are you? Right? How compatible are you, right? Other than just being physically compatible, are you mentally compatible? Are you mentally balanced with each other? Are you emotionally balanced with each other, right? Those are things that you need to consider, because again, the dangers of being unequally yoked or not balanced or not compatible is that you already set your relationship up to fail. And if it does not fail simply because you all stay together, some people stay together and their relationship is raggedy. Their relationship is miserable. They barely talk. They hardly spend any time together, right? But they stay together just for the sake of being in this relationship. Also, let's talk about being unequally yoked as it relates to affection, right? Some people just aren't affectionate. Right? That's either because that's not what they saw growing up, you know what I mean? Or that's just not their thing. No harm, no foul. But if you are really affectionate and you need affection, those are things that you need to consider in the dating process before you step over to making an exclusive commitment to somebody, right? Because being unequally yoked, even as it relates to your ability to be affectionate or your desire to be affectionate, is going to leave somebody lacking in the dynamic. Right? And so that's why I tell people all the time, use the dating process. Dating before, that's the pre-relationship stage. When you first meet somebody, use that moment to really collect the necessary information to make the right decision. Use that time to collect the correct data, right? Before moving to the next level or before proceeding to the next level. But what people do is they rush past the dating process. They run through it, then they get married or they make these exclusive commitments to people that they are unequally yoked with. They make commitments to people that there is no balance, right? They make commitments to people because they aren't compatible. And I get you want to give somebody the benefit of the doubt. But you do know there's a limit to that too, because we can also be guilty of giving people the benefit of the doubt beyond what they deserve. And if you are in a dynamic that is unhealthy and it is toxic and it is not benefiting, because I don't care what nobody try to tell you, if you are in a relationship and you are connecting to somebody, there has to be a mutual benefit to both parties, right? Ain't nobody in it just to be in it. You in it for something. You're in a relationship for the gain. It may not be about the come up or money, but you're in a relationship for some sort of gain, whether it is companionship, whether it is love, whether it is security. We're all in it for some type of a gain. And if you are in a dynamic that there is no gain for you or no benefit for you, listen, you're not going to be happy. It just is what it is, right? That is the danger of being unequally yoked and making a commitment and marrying and being in exclusive relationships with people you are not balanced with, because then you're going to be unhappy. Your relationship will be unhealthy and the road will be rocky. That's just reality. But people don't want to have a real conversation. And I'm here to have a real conversation with you that being unequally yoked extends farther than, right? And it is deeper than just our belief system, and whether you believe in God or you believe in God the way I do, whether you're a praiser or whether you're a worshiper, those things are important as well. It's important. Do you pray? If you pray, if you got a prayer life, you know what I mean, and I don't, we're going to have a little bit of issue. If you know what I'm saying? That's just, those things are real. But we also going to have issues outside of church if we unequally yoked. And I'm repeating it because I need you to get it in your spirit. If we unequally yoked in the way that we communicate, if we are unequally yoked in the way that we resolve conflict, if we are unequally yoked in the way that we manage our finances, if we are unequally yoked in how we do love, right? It could ultimately cause a problem. And love does not leave bruises. It does not leave physical bruises. It does not leave emotional bruises. It does not leave mental bruises. Love is long suffering. Love endures all. Love bears all. It's not designed to hurt you. That's not what God created love to do. Right? Love supports. Love heals. Right? Here's this thing, and I'm getting ready to go. Whenever you are connecting with somebody, especially we're talking about the dating process, whenever you come into somebody's life or they come into your life, you all are coming into each other's lives to add to each other, right? And so that whenever you enter into each other's lives, each of you should be better because of the experience. And if we cannot be better because of the experience, then we don't need to be together. And if you don't believe me, being unequally yoked, again, means you're not balanced, means that there is no way that you can be better because of the experience. And because you are not compatible or balanced, or you are not equally yoked, you're going to have a hard way. So think about these things as you're going through your dynamic. If you're in the dating process, or even if you're building a relationship, you have to consider these things before making a commitment, right? You have to consider these things before marriage. I hope this helps you. I hope you enjoy the rest of your Saturday. Thank you for listening. We'll talk later.